My name is Chike Farrell. I am one of the co-founders of Caribbean Ideas, and my background is pretty varied. I've hopped around between the Caribbean and different parts of North America. I've been back in Trinidad full-time since October 2010, working full-time on Caribbean Ideas. Before that, I spent 6.5 years at Microsoft headquarters in Seattle, actually, working entirely in the online and online advertising part of the company. So my first role there was in MSN marketing, and I was on the search product. I moved to search advertising, and then last but not least, I worked on our global advertising network, very targeted display advertising. Before that, I was doing an MBA at MIT in Boston, so I spent 2 years there. I was at Ernst & Young Caribbean in the marketing side of an accounting company, which I always think is pretty funny. And I did undergrad at the University of Toronto. And of course, I have to give a shout out to St. Mary's College, which is where my co-founder Brevard Nelson and I met and became friends. And that relationship led in large part to Caribbean Ideas. Caribbean Ideas started based on a particular point of view about opportunity. And the opportunity that we saw was that as there was more internet penetration, more broadband penetration, we knew that it was like a wave coming to the Caribbean, and our first focus was just creating a business that was ahead of that wave. And we weren't 100% sure exactly where that would take us. We've evolved quite a lot. The original opportunity that we saw was actually around building something like a portal for the Caribbean world, but very quickly it became clear that businesses and organizations needed help just figuring out how to use web, mobile, social media to reach their customers and engage them more, because traditional methods weren't as effective as they had been. So we shifted to become a digital solutions provider or a digital agency. And even in that time, we've actually done a range of different things. Our first few years, sort of 2010 to 13, were really about digital marketing to reach and engage and be where your audience and where your customers resided. But today, we're in the midst of another big evolution, because we see the future as using digital to sell, to deliver service more effectively, and to boost loyalty with your customers. So we've actually reorganized our company to be really focused on those three pillars as we go forward. Along the way, we've found ourselves seeking to drive education around how businesses and organizations could use digital. So we found ourselves doing conferences. We created the first major conference on how to use and apply digital. It was called the Caribbean Digital Expo. We've actually done 4 conferences in the last 5 years. So those are different parts of us, but really our core focus is, as a digital agency, focused on helping organizations sell, deliver better customer service, and increase customer loyalty. Over the time, we've built an organization designed to achieve the goals that we've had. We actually are currently an 18-person company with a set of folks who are dedicated to more technical solutions, user interface design, development of mobile applications, websites, e-commerce platforms, that sort of thing. We obviously have a large part of our team that's dedicated towards client service and working with a range of large clients. We actually have worked across pretty much every industry, from financial services to energy to consumer packaged goods to retail. So we work with multinationals and medium-sized companies, anyone that sort of has the mindset that digital can help them move their sales and marketing objectives forward. Those are the types of engagements and clients that we work with across multiple industries. So over time, we've built up a really crackshot team. We tend to have this mix of people from who've lived and worked almost entirely in the Caribbean, but they want to operate at a global class level. And then we also have a mix of Trinidadian nationals who've lived abroad and spent time abroad and have seen that level of performance, but they want to bring that back to the Caribbean. So it's a really eclectic and interesting mix, great characters. We have a lot of fun as we go after this very big vision that we have. We've been fortunate to have some really great experiences along the way. Some of the things that really get us most excited are when we have success for our clients. So, one client that comes to mind, for example, is Cold Stone Creamery, who, every year they would go to the international marketing managers meeting, and this everybody across the world with a Cold Stone franchise, and literally they kept winning. So I think they won 2 years in a row, where they were voted as the best at the use and application of digital and social media. So that's an award that we take great pride in. We've also won an Addy award actually for our work along with McCann Erickson on the I for TNT campaign for BP Trinidad and Tobago, which was great at creating this groundswell of pride, national pride, and associating BP with just basically the emotion around the Olympics in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, not last but certainly not least, I have to mention Hidden Champions, which is sort of the newest award that we've been able to be a part of or add to our list, and it's one that we're actually immensely proud of, not just because of the fact that it's a recognition of a lot of hard work, but also because of the opportunity that it brings to take our business to the next level, which is something that's really in focus for us. We actually just did an exercise to kind of get down on paper our 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year vision. So I spoke about where we as a digital agency are focused, which is around sales, customer service, and loyalty, and helping organizations really harness web, mobile, and social media technologies to do that. But more than that, we've always had as our North Star this idea that Caribbean organizations can and should be playing on the global scale, and that they should be able to compete at that level in much the same way that in sports like track and field or in other professional sports or other areas, people know that if there's a Caribbean person in the field, they're going to be really good at it, but that's not necessarily always the same association that people make with organizations. So if I were to summarize it, we sort of see Caribbean Ideas as being a catalyst for a new wave of Caribbean organizations that are much more customer centric, much more technology savvy, and able to compete on a global scale. So how do we do that? Well, we see ourselves as basically providing them with the tools and capabilities to navigate a world that is changing very rapidly. As audiences and customers have changed, their needs, their demands have evolved quite significantly. And a lot of the clients that we work with are challenged by the ways that they do that. So for us, that's our large vision. That's our big, hairy, audacious goal, as they say, as Jim Collins wrote. And that's how we see ourselves navigating a path. How we do that is actually in a set of different ways. Our agency business is one of those ways, which is very high touch, white glove service, very hands-on. But another area of sort of growth opportunity and focus for us is building our own technology solutions that help our clients address some of the challenges that we see from customer service and customer feedback and a range of other things through technology as well. So that's really what we're focused on. We believe that we have the team and the capabilities to do that, and we believe in this vision of a more competitive Caribbean. Being part of the Hidden Champions program is incredibly exciting for us. I mean, it went from, a program or initiative that, we initially didn't know that much about, and we were curious and we were interested, and, we were kind of going through these different things. As we learned more and more about the program and more importantly, what it represented, right? I think we feel like, we're very much entrepreneurs. We've been at this for some time, and we feel like we're not the finished article in any way, right? We've done some things, and we kind of try to create a culture where, what you've done well before, you do it, you feel good about it for a second, and then you move on to the next milestone that you have to hit. And so the Hidden Champions really resonates with us in the sense that, it reflects work that's been done, but it also reflects a passion or a desire to do more and to be more and to be larger than you are today. And so that resonates with us really well. As we've learned more about the way that the program selected the three finalists and how rigorous a process it was across many different industries, I think that's also helped for us as well to further get us more excited about it. We love the fact that it's part of an international program as well, because we definitely see, and as I mentioned in terms of our vision, a vision of the Caribbean on the world scale. So very excited about the Hidden Champions program. We couldn't be happier to be one of the three that are part of this inaugural phase of the program in Trinidad and Tobago and in the region.
My name is Brevard Nelson. I'm one of the co-founders of Caribbean Ideas Limited. And so my background, I have approximately 10 years in financial services experience in corporate communications and marketing, punctuated by some time out east in London and Europe, doing my master's in marketing and communications. And it was around this time that, my business partner and I, because we had a friendship from high school, started thinking about starting a business back in Trinidad that will fulfill a specific need in the market. And so when we both decided to jump back into the business full time in 2010, we decided to leave our day jobs, leave our corporate jobs, and get into the entrepreneurial world and really give our time fully to Caribbean Ideas Limited to make sure that it really realizes its full potential. And so here we are today, a few years later, and we're beginning to see some of the movement and certainly some of the success. We obviously are not the finished article in any way, but a lot of the hard work that we put in before, we're starting to see that come to fruition now. First of all, it's an absolute pleasure to be nominated as one of the Hidden Champions. Obviously the Hidden Champions program to us was very well hidden before because we really did not know a lot about the program, to be honest. But as we got deeper into it and as every round of evaluation and interviews and questionnaires came over, we really started looking at the program. We obviously researched it and we realized that it was an international program and that this was part of a broader initiative across the globe, and that this pilot project in Trinidad and Tobago was meant to focus on SMEs and help them grow. And so, having been selected, having gone through the process and the evaluation, we're really excited to embark upon this journey and this stage of our expansion or growth. We've been operating for 5 years full time, but certainly 7 years incorporated. And yes, we've had some growth to this point, but we've actually at this particular point we already did our strategic plan for 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years plan. And so the Hidden Champions actually came at a perfect time almost, just after we set our goals for our 3 to 5 year plan. It came at a perfect time to almost facilitate some of this growth that we envision for ourselves, and a lot of the tools and instruments that are being offered in terms of technical advisory, in terms of access to resources, etc., even introduction in other markets. A lot of this we see as something that's important for us for our expansion. So we're very happy to have been selected. The process in terms of the selection was definitely very rigorous, and we appreciate that because we appreciate the rigor simply because we know that after having gone through the process, a lot of elements would have been evaluated, and the companies that would actually best fit would have been selected. We certainly are excited about the year ahead because as we found out more and more about the project, and even while we were meeting with members from the IIC and the Korean Exim Bank, we found out more and more about the program and a lot of the other programs that were run in other parts of the world. And we're really excited about the next steps and all that this program has to offer. So as a technology company, we're dealing in services and we build technology and technology solutions for our clients. And so we have in the past actually done work for clients within the region in Barbados and other Caribbean islands. And so in theory, yes, we've been exporting our services in different regions. But what we've decided is that we needed to ensure that we get the blueprint right and do that in Trinidad and Tobago first, and then of course expand regionally and internationally. And the beautiful thing is that we do have a strategy going forward in terms of regional expansion, but in the type of industry and the business that we're in with technology, technology has really made the world flat. And so any part of the world that you go, you can use technology or build something, and you could pretty much use international standards, and you can be the best in Trinidad and Tobago, yes, but you could actually also be the best in the world if your product is good enough. And so knowing this, I mean, we obviously are not necessarily going to limit ourselves to the parameters of Trinidad and Tobago, and so certainly through this program and any other initiative, we would seek to ensure that we can expand accordingly. Part of the award or being nominated as a hidden champion was a representative attending the IIC conference in Busan, Korea. And so this was a fantastic experience on multiple levels. So from the business perspective, we had an opportunity to go and actually meet other digital agencies, other folks who are in technology space. In South Korea, known for tech giants like Samsung and LG, it was a great experience to be able to interact with folks who are in that space. We were actually lucky enough to meet with another digital agency there and compare notes and see how they're actually operating. And interestingly enough, we're really not that far behind in Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, infrastructure may be different, but a lot of the technology that they are using, we have been or are using currently. And so that's why I continue to say that technology has really made the world flat, because by the use of technology or leveraging technology, you can in fact create a global class solution or app or website or what have you for any one of your clients. So that was an excellent experience, just in terms of being able to interact with another agency, compare notes, see what they're up to, see what they're planning to, maybe even open up collaboration opportunities. Also, it was a great opportunity for observation. So going into a country where, again, technology is ubiquitous. You're walking through and Wi-Fi, there's an abundance of Wi-Fi. You can actually connect on any Wi-Fi and continue to do searches, etc. in the market. But I think because we also have the need for research, and we've also been doing our own research here in terms of digital habits and practices locally, it was an opportunity to observe the behavior patterns of a lot of folks in the space where technology is ubiquitous. So observing some of the teenagers or even other folks' use of technology in the trains, in the subways, even in store applications, and really understanding how people use technology and seeing that firsthand, that was also a great experience. And as I mentioned, because of the absence of information here in Trinidad and Tobago, in the past couple of years, we have been taking it upon ourselves to actually do some research, partnering with a research company to actually get that data so that companies can actually make data-driven decisions based on empirical data in the market in terms of digital habits and practices. And so just a small plug, stay tuned for our latest version, which will be out soon. But beyond the business perspective, I mean, there were multiple opportunities, collaborative opportunities. There were certainly, there was an opportunity. There was also a moment of pride in the conference itself, seeing some of the presenters on the innovation and youth entrepreneur panel. Wesley Gervais, who represented Trinidad and Tobago, and talking about his startup. So it was a proud moment for us to actually see another Trinidad and Tobago national on the panel and engaging with other folks from Haiti and Colombia and Argentina, etc. And so that was fantastic. And again, it underscores the fact that, yes, Trinidad and Tobago, we might have 1.3 million people. We're small in terms of size, and most times we actually do have to describe exactly where Trinidad and Tobago is on the map. But the reality is, in terms of talent, in terms of the capability, we have that. We are rich with that talent. We have the capability. And so therefore, that's something that I think we need to make sure that we continue to realize and reinforce with a lot of our entrepreneurs and a lot of our locals, that you actually do have the talent to actually be global class. And so from a business perspective, it actually was a fantastic experience, but also on a personal level for me, it was a phenomenal experience, just in terms of experiencing the Korean hospitality. It was fantastic. They really went out of their way to make sure that we were welcome. Everything ran on time. Super efficient, super efficient. I recall one instance where the bus was leaving at 6:10, and one of the other hidden champions and I, we were walking to the bus, and we would have made it in time for 6:10. But one of the ushers and one of the coordinators was like, it's 6:03, and you need to make sure that you actually get to the bus at 6:10. And so the bus was literally outside, probably about 2 minutes walk. But they really went all out of their way to ensure that everything ran smoothly and efficiently. The IIC team, the IADB team, and the Exim Bank team, they all actually went out of their way to meet with us, to set up meetings for us, to ensure that we were comfortable, etc. So that was fantastic, and we definitely were very appreciative of that. And as I mentioned, from a personal perspective too, yes, experiencing the Korean culture was fantastic. Even for me, I actually did my postgraduate studies in London and in France, and it so happened that one of my classmates is from South Korea, and she happened to be living in Busan, where the conference is. And so I haven't seen her in 10 years. And so the fact that I was able to actually meet up with her, and she was able to show us around and show some of the local Korean hospitality, that was fantastic. So for me, the Hidden Champion has been able to facilitate a lot of this, open our eyes to a lot of the business practices across the companies and across the globe, really. And we're really excited across the entire team. I mean, came back and I shared the experience with the team, and everyone is really excited. I shared some pictures, and I shared some of the experience, even some of the beverages, the Korean rice wine, and some of the other dishes and wines of the day. And so I think everyone was really is excited to take this to the next level and really open up the frontiers in terms of growth and whatever opportunities exist for us going forward. I think that the Hidden Champions program, from our perspective, we see it as an integral part of our strategy going forward. We do expect a lot of knowledge sharing across borders in terms of collaboration with other companies. Even among the other hidden champions, we certainly have seen across industries the kind of talent that we have locally. So why not also collaborate locally within the program? But we actually are looking forward to the knowledge sharing, the collaboration with other companies, and other resources, ability to access whatever resources that are available. That would facilitate our expansion. Then we're all too happy to open our doors to that. So we're happy with the program thus far, and we absolutely would recommend this program to other SMEs. The one thing that I actually did mention to the members of the IIC and the Korean Exim Bank in Korea was that this is the type of program that is very, very much needed, especially for SMEs. Most times you'd find that the very early stage startups, they may have some opportunity for whether it's for advice or financing or what have you. And of course, established companies, they have their avenues for accessing whether it's advisory or finance, etc. But usually the guys in the middle are the ones who are pretty much left to grow until you reach a certain point, and then we consider you. And so this type of program certainly helps a lot of SMEs in the market gain the type of experience and certainly open their doors to expansion. And I think this is something that is encouraged, and we are obviously grateful to the IIC, the Korean Exim Bank, and obviously Arthur Love Jack and your team for bringing the initiative here, and also doing this inaugural version of it here in Trinidad and Tobago. and we're really looking forward to expansion of this particular program within the region, and even collaboration with other Latin American companies. There was a huge Latin American contingent in Korea, and it was interesting to know what they are working on, and they're really our neighbors. And so the fact that we go to Korea and we actually meet some of our next door neighbors, it's an opportunity for us to actually open the doors to collaboration regionally, and I'm really hoping that this program can actually help facilitate some of that. And so yes, we do think about English-speaking countries in terms of expansion, but definitely within Latin America, Central and Latin America, there are tremendous opportunities for a lot of companies, and we think that given the reach of this particular program, we think that is something that can be facilitated, and it can certainly help a lot of other SMEs. So we look forward to the next year and the opportunities that the program actually brings to us. We're also excited about the fact that the IIC conference is in the Bahamas next year. So certainly it's within our region and our hemisphere, and we look forward to possibly even encouraging the next group to go forward and actually represent the region and Trinidad and Tobago at that conference.